back. It's Weekend Politics. And quickly, let me introduce my guest to you this evening. I have a guest that's been very regular on the show. He's a geopolitical analyst and also a security expert. Idem Emmanuel is his name. Idem, good evening, and so good to have you join us on Weekend Politics.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Now one will say happy Sunday and also happy new month to you.
Same to you. Thank you.
So quickly, let's look at, we've witnessed this heightened, this rise, of late in kidnapping. Now, what would you say is really the problem? Because we noticed that in the last 2.5 years or thereabout, we never experienced this, but this is coming back. We used to have these experiences way back in 2014, and like that, we had it in the time of the administration of late President Buhari, and now this is what the nation is faced with. Talk to us, kidnapping, why are we in this mess?
In the issue of abduction and kidnapping and crimes related to taking of persons and demanding for ransoms, I think it has 3 layers. And if we want to solve the problem of kidnapping and abduction, we have to deal with this problem in those 3 layers. One of the layers is the political dimension. We have the political dimension of it. We have the economic dimension of it. And then we also have the other dimension that has to do with state security institution. Okay, so we're going to look at it this way. The economic aspect of this abduction and terrorism depends on the Nigerian economy. Statistics shows that over 100 million Nigerians are under poverty. I mean, multi-dimensional poverty. So that's the statistic, that is the situation. And when a society is plunged so deep into poverty, we're having a huge index of underemployment. Statistics is showing that we have a huge number of unemployed persons in the country. There are not enough factories for people to work. There are no opportunities. People are disenfranchised and greatly discouraged. So when you have that kind of situation, what normally happens is that when your population is deeply into poverty, it gives room for what? For criminality. So there's tendency for drugs trafficking, there's tendency for prostitution, there's tendencies for people to, venture into different kind of criminality. For example, kidnapping has become a very viable business in Nigeria now. And that aspect of it, what the government has to do to solve that problem will not only be addressing the security challenge that we have in the country, but addressing the economic challenge that we have. But most of the time, addressing economic challenge takes a lot of time for the fruit of those policies that are implemented in the economic aspect to bear fruit to solve this problem. So the short-term plan will be working through the security aspect, dealing with the security aspect. We need to work with our drug enforcement agency. They have to up their game. As I'm talking to you now, there are a lot of young Nigerians. I'm a youth. I see a lot of Nigerian youth. A lot of our youth, a lot of them are addicts. They are drug addicts. And there are a lot of young persons that have nothing to do, and all they do is to go around selling drugs, trafficking drugs. We need to identify, the security agency has to identify this network, crack down on this network, and has to be very, very, very brutal and decisive on dealing with drugs, because the future of any nation depends on the youth. If all the youths in Nigeria, 50% of Nigerian youths are used to taking hard drugs, marijuana, they are mentally and chemically unstable, and that means you will not have a good Nigeria may not experience good leadership in the future, because almost all the persons that should be empowered and be doing, they are already demented. They are mentally, not fit for leadership. So the government has to do something about that. Now, the other side is prostitution. Prostitution is another thing that is prevalent in the country right now. A lot of young girls, because they don't have skills, the government has not done anything to address that. You understand? Because we can always do things. The reason why most of these young persons are there, thank God for Cross River State, the Cross River State government has been aligning with the EDC, the Entrepreneurship Development, center to train. But I think we need to do more. We have the West African Fabrication Center that was built by Ayade, Ben Ayade, former governor Ben Ayade. I've been passing through that place at Bishop Monaca, the highway. Nothing is going on there. It's as if some private individual has taken over that property. There is no fabrication machine. There's nothing going on in that place. So these are the problems. We needed to bring up technicians, people who will come there and make that place useful, train people, technical people. If we don't, we can bring them from diaspora to come and train Nigerian youth in different things. Today, I just heard that Imo State government is beginning to train Imo citizens, youth, on how to operate drones. Drones is essential for security today. So what we need to do right now is to address this. This is the economic dimension. We need to address this, because when you don't address that, people who have nothing to do will become tool for recruitment for terrorism. They will be recruited. Imagine if people come to most of our interior villages and pick some jobless youth and infuse them with cocaine and hard drugs and bring ladies and flirt around with them and give them dollars and then tell them this is what we are going to train you to do, carry out this operation. They will do it.
Okay, let me get in there now. Eden, we know this issue of kidnapping. One can trace it to early 2000s. When the leader Boko Haram was killed by the police extrajudiciary. Now, from then till now, it's more than 20 years. Is it that the government has lost control? Why is this like a hydra-headed challenge that look, these guys cannot be gotten out of the way?
I think the issue of terrorism is a very simple thing for the Nigerian military and Nigerian security apparatus to deal with. I think it is the problem is the indecisiveness of the government to pay serious attention to that matter. I'm talking like a Nigerian citizen here. I'm not trying to be political biased, okay? But like I was telling you, that the terrorism that has to do with abduction of persons, it has both political, economic undertone. Now, the government has made a lot of promise to safeguard life and property, help Nigeria deal with the issue of terrorism. But I haven't seen any mechanism that has been put in place to, deal with terrorism and abduction in Nigeria decisively. I've not seen any center that has been set up, because usually what I see in the West, for instance, we had terrorism that was, spearheaded by the Caucasus in Grozny, crime in Grozny in Russia. We have people from Grozny. There were a lot of terrorism in Russia. When Vladimir Putin came, they set up anti-terrorism squad, whose job were 24 hours. They were dedicated to going after terrorists. It's not when there's a terrorist attack here and then they begin to run around, the security agency begin to know. There ought to be a dedicated center that deals with studying these problems and working solutions to this problem. That is how you start to deal with terrorism and abduction, because anybody can abduct anybody. Your next door neighbor can decide to become a kidnapper and just abduct people for business. You understand? So what I think the government have not been so decisive concerning the issue of abduction, the abduction of your state, your state, where a lot of teachers, were abducted with students. I remember that this government has talked about secure school center policy. It talks about secure school center policy, where we thought that the government by this time, not only on papers, would have deployed security, maybe the Nigerian Civil Defense Forces with the Nigerian police, who already, the Nigerian police are so stretched. You cannot blame them. They are so stretched. The members of the Nigerian police forces and the civil defense forces were supposed to be deployed to schools across the federation, especially schools in interior communities. That is one of the policies that this government has talked about, secured school project policy, which I haven't seen that being implemented.
Okay, so quickly, do you think there is a conspiracy? Now, the last abduction we saw, the Oyo you made mention, these pupils were moved in droves. I'm sure it had taken several minutes, if not up to an hour. Was it that they never had intelligence to reach out to security experts? Is it that we are having either there's a conspiracy or there is a mole in the security architecture?
They're both. We have already in Nigeria intelligence community. For me, I don't think is well. It's completely breached. It's politicized. They're not doing their job. I'm telling you the truth. They're not doing their job. If you talk about conspiracies, there are conspiracies. Do they have the equipment to do their job, or? I mean, I don't want to delve into that. Not delving into equipment. I know a lot of technology that we need to begin to invest. Nigerian security, we need to get this technology. Simple technology transfer, radar-bound system. We could. I mean, if you go to Russia right now, you understand the Russian government does not depend on the GPS. Global positioning this thing. They do not the Russians do not depend on the GPS. Russia has advanced space-based satellite imagery technology that can capture image in any area. You know, we even have, it has even been commercialized. They have commercial companies that have launched satellites that can provide those services. So there's nothing there. If the United States is not willing to deal with us, to give us that asset, we can get that from China. We can. The Chinese have it. For instance, the Iranians, because of their fight with the Americans, they recently shut down the GPS system. They are now using it. The GPS system in Iran is jammed. They are now using Beidou, which is the Chinese kind of GPS system, and it is even more sophisticated than the American GPS. It has the capacity to magnify close to the earth. Even it can magnify close to this phone on the ground. They can capture this phone from space. Okay, so what the Nigerian security agency, the intelligence organization, we need to discuss with the presidency, go to China, find these companies, have a security deal with them. They will train our persons, hand us this technology, and we'll pay what we're supposed to pay, so that we have total intelligent cover of our airspace. Do you understand? We need to do that. If you do that, 24 hours, we'll be able to be doing this operation. I talked about this the other time. I talked about drone reconnaissance and surveillance operation. I did say that the Nigerian government, the military, I'm not supposed to be giving this information to you, sir. I should be paid for this. The Nigerian military should go to different interior villages, communities, border regions, even places that are swamp areas, build what is called temporal base, drone base, deploy drones, reconnaissance drones, put people there and put this center. The Nigerian police force should have special intelligence gathering vehicle that has drone technology. They should be moving in strategic location. Drones can fly a long distance, gathering intelligence, sending it to the center, and then we should have new emergency lines that are effective, that people can reach out to people. Something that can travel through our forest area, scan through our forest area, feed information on real time. These are the things we need to do.
So why are these not being achieved?
Well, I think it is, I don't think Nigerians are very intelligent people. I'm a Nigerian. We know this information is out there.
So do you feel, where do you let the blame now with them? Is it on the hierarchy of the military?
I blame the military. I don't know how far, if they have made this policy known to the government.
Let's not forget that there was a particular, one of the generals that went, to get these bad guys down.
Are you talking about Musa?
Yes. Okay. And while he was there trying to send information out, he was being cornered and murdered. So it shows that there's a crack in the system.
There is a crack. It was an intelligent failure on the Nigerian military part. And let me tell you that vulnerability. General Musa actually sent out information to the Nigerian headquarters through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a commercial communication device. It's commercial. You cannot send classified military intelligence information through commercial WhatsApp platforms.
It could be hard.
The military are supposed to have, a secured communication device. Build an app that has that capability like WhatsApp to send security information. That is number one. And then we also understand that there is a mole in the Nigerian military, and I think we can actually pick out this mold. We can sieve the system. This is very possible. I mean, if you give me the contract to work with the Nigerian government, we can sieve out molds out of our security agency. It's possible. It's a small thing tax to do.
Actually, they are watching, so they will sure reach out to you. But let's move on, because we need guys like you that can. This is really a big problem. Between 2024 and 2026, over 600, have been kidnapped. But let's look at during the moment we had President Buhari, the late President Buhari, when he had a minister of digital economy who spent so much money, in getting the NIN, saying that, look, this will be able to track these bad guys and all of that. But till date, kidnappers still call families, still call friends to pay ransom. Why is it that we cannot track back so much billions had gone into need? So much. Why can't we track these guys?
Now,
are using the normal
you were asking if there's a political undertone, there's a political dimension to this.
I was coming there.
So the point is that there are two faces to this, that political dimension. You see, I've seen a trend, just like we were saying, that every political calendar, every political season for campaign, there are tendency for us to see a spike, a hike, in abduction and terrorism cases. What I see there is that I think it's part of a political propaganda. The propaganda is to discredit the incumbent government. I am not saying the incumbent government has done so well. No, I am not saying the incumbent government have done. I'm going to say it. Our present government has failed woefully in the area of security. We have failed. He has failed. Okay, but at the same time, sir, I remember what Wike was saying a few days ago. He talked about security being politicized. And it's true. It's just that the way he actually rendered the statement is completely wrong, if you want to look at it. That's why a lot of civil rights groups and the labor union came after him. The way he put it, he didn't put it well. But the truth is that it has been politicized. Because we look at it now, every time campaign period, every political season, there is a hike, there is tensions in the whole country in the issue of abduction and terrorism. So and it's shameful that any politician in this country would support, sponsor terrorism to punish Nigerians, to discredit the incumbent government just to gain cheap political score, to campaign with, in order to why would you want to destroy the very people you want to lead? If you want to lead Nigerians, there are a lot of things to discuss. It's not to go behind the scene to sponsor people, to terrorize the very same people you want to lead. So, I mean, we Nigerians, we have to be very serious. We have to be very, 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 very serious, because this is not good. This is not good at all. It is not good. What is happening is not good. So, there's a clear evidence in this, that there are a certain faction, political factions in this country that are also supporting terrorism in the country. So we should hold ourselves, both the government and ourselves, accountable. We should hold ourselves. Do you understand? Yeah, because every time there is a political season, whenever it is political season, we see a spike, a hike in this. It's as if people are using politics as a bargaining chips. You understand? For power. We are using the same people that they're supposed to protect and lead as bargaining chip for political tussle for power. So that is the problem. That is the problem. So in the other way around, you were saying that
they need to track these guys.
They need to track this guy. I said it the other day when we had the same political security discussion. I said it has been discovered that most of the terrorists, ISWAP members of ISWAP and Boko Haram, who have abducted people in the past, have been using satellite. The satellite is connected to the United Arab Emirates. I mean, this is information that is out there in the public space. The United Arab Emirates controls a particular satellite called Thuraya Satellite. Thuraya Satellite 1 and 2. They are the one controlling. It has been discovered that ISWAP, in fact, the government of the Republic of Chad banned the use, Niger Republic has banned the use of Thuraya satellite devices in their country. If any of those devices is found in their country, it means it is smuggled in. So a lot of terrorists are using satellite communication tools, and most of the banks that are working with these persons are operating outside Nigeria, mostly in the United Arab Emirates. In 2020, the United Arab Emirates actually gave out a list to the Nigerian government of about some 10, if I'm not mistaken, individuals who were arrested and were found to send every month over $780,000 US, to fund Boko Haram and terrorism in Nigeria. And this list was published, and most of these individuals were very wealthy and influential people, and they were arrested by the government of the United Arab Emirates. I thought if the Nigerian government is so serious about dealing with security issues, would have sent a diplomatic envoy to the government of the United Arab Emirates to repatriate these persons to Nigeria, because they are committing crime against the Nigerian people. They would have repatriated these individuals to Nigeria so that we will also hold them down and get information from them, why they are doing the network that they've built, the persons that are involved, how they are able to do this, and who is encouraging or supporting them, how are they getting their weapons smuggled, and where are these groups stationed, how are they carrying out their training and armament. These are the questions that the Nigerian security apparatus, the Nigerian government is supposed to ask, the government is supposed to do. But I didn't see these people. Most of them are sentenced life in prison in the United Arab Emirates. And again, I keep asking this question: why are terrorists using Thuraya satellite? Is it that the government of the United Arab Emirates does not know about it? Is it that they don't know about it? These are the questions that the Nigerian government has to begin to ask. And again, I discovered that the government of the United Arab Emirates has strong security and diplomatic relationship with the United States and Israel. So, and I mean, these are allies. They have special relationship. We have one of the largest American military bases in the United Arab Emirates. We have a diplomatic tie between the United Arab Emirates and the government of Israel. In fact, the government of Israel visited Benjamin Netanyahu, had a secret visit to the United Arab Emirates recently. And we also are aware that the United Arab Emirates is also supporting factions in Yemen, to separatist movement in Yemen to divide the country. We know that the government of United Arab Emirates is also supporting factions in this country, in Sudan. They are supporting the warring faction in Sudan again. The United Arab Emirates is involved in Libya. So this Nigerian government has to begin to ask a lot of questions with the United Arab Emirates. Why are these sponsors of terrorism, Boko Haram and the rest, why were they found in United Arab Emirates? Why is it that almost all of them were found in United and were sending funds to terrorists in Nigeria? Why is it that most of these terrorists that are asking for ransom are trading with Arab banks, using Arab-based banks in foreign countries?
Now, quickly, let me, because of time, the show is getting very much interesting. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at what the former president of Nigeria said, Mr. Goodluck Jonathan. He said, even in his cabinet, he has Boko Haram members, sympathizers of Boko Haram. So, is it that we have people who are, now giving out with civilians who are depending more on what these guys are doing? Because for a president to say even in his cabinet
there are sympathizers who are a little bit apologetic to the Boko Haram. You see,
how can we handle this?
That when you see members of government cabinet becoming apologetic and sympathizing with a certain extremist group, it is because of the ideology. So the insecurity issue in Nigeria is not just this security based, it is ideological. And when we talk of ideology, we talk about religion. You understand? Islam, there's no problem with Islam. Islam is a wonderful religion. Do you understand? Just like Christianity. But you see, Islam has been weaponized by a certain group of people who are, quote unquote, they are trying to spread certain ideology. But in fact, you've heard of Islamophobia. Islam has nothing. We have nothing to fear about Islam. But people within the political sphere has weaponized this religion. Do you understand? And it is to demonize the religion and destroy the image of that religion. Islam has nothing with killing of people and spreading whatsoever narrative. You get it? But those people are those who have the school of the same ideology. And when you see this kind of people immediately try to defend this, what the president was supposed to do is to immediately prosecute them, get them arrested and start asking them questions, investigate them immediately. Do you understand? So it's not enough for former President Goodluck Jonathan to say some of the members of his cabinet are apologetic or sympathizing with terrorists. It is not enough. I mean, it shows, I don't know, I heard he's actually running for presidency. I think he shouldn't try that, because that already discredits him. He's making that kind of a statement. Immediately they do that, you should get them arrested, investigate them for supporting it. Therefore means that ideologically, okay, they are in support of certain narrative. You get it? So you have to investigate them.
Finally, Adam, what do you think is the hope for Nigerians in the midst of all of these kidnappings? What is the hope? What was the way forward as a security expert?
I think that the government has to sit up and be decisive about security, because I think that the issue of security and terrorism in Nigeria has been weaponized. It has become instrumental for the tussle of power. You understand? It has become political, and I think there are a lot of foreign hands involved in this. And the reason why these foreign hands have been very successful, sir, I will tell you, is because persons in the Nigerian government, most of our leaders have become puppets of Western establishment, neo-colonial structures. You understand? We don't have independent foreign policy. Tell me why Nigerian government will not openly partner with countries like Russia. You understand? Deploy certain technology, or openly partner with countries like China in the area of security, and transfer certain technology and train our persons to deal with this problem decisively. We have all it takes to deal with it. We have the human resources, we have the information, we have the diplomatic connection. Nigeria is not under any sanction. No countries, I mean, a country like Iran was sanctioned for over 10 years from importing any weapon. Countries were banned from giving them weapons. Do you understand? So Nigeria is not under any sanction. Why can't we get weapons and support from countries and deal with this decisively? It is because some of us are accomplished. Some of us are actually reaping from this. So I think the government has to sit up. If this government, the government of President Tinubu, wants to be re-elected into office, I'm not against anybody, but let him sit down and set out plans to deal with security issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we just have to hang it. Adam Emmanuel is a geopolitical analyst and a security expert. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr.
Very insightful moment there.
Very much.
Thank you. So we'll take a very short break, and when we are back, we will take you through the 3 years of His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State. Two gentlemen will be joining us here as we take a look at the last 3 years and how it's been. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Weekend Politics returns shortly. Stay.